WDYKA,
the What Do You Know About podcast.
Each episode, we'll be breaking down pop culture topics from totally different worlds.
What do you know about
Video games,
reality TV,
science fiction,
true crime,
tech,
YouTubers,
and more.
Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 4 of What Do You Know About?
Hi, I am one of your hosts, Mikaela, and I'm here with my awesome husband. Say your name.
Chris.
Yeah, okay. This happens every time.
Yeah, but
Okay,
you
so there
said
you go.
you said it as if like you were going to say it. You didn't say my awesome husband, and
Well,
then,
I
you
don't
know,
know. I
you
put
just
out
said
my
it like
hand,
normal,
I
and then you
just-
stopped talking.
I gestured towards you. Anyways, we are so glad to have you guys back with us for another awesome episode. Hopefully you enjoy it. I think we're going to start out this episode with some kind of questions to like get to know us a little bit, but also it's to decide who's going to go first on their topic. So without further ado, might as well get into it, right?
Yeah, so while Mikaela pulls that up, we got some icebreaker questions where it's like, who was born closer to one of the ones you did earlier was who was born closest to where you are right now, for example. And
Which
we're
we can
going
do
to
that.
just grab 5 of them at random, and whoever gets more of them goes first.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just do, I'm going to just kind of scroll through and let whatever it stops on first is what I'm going to do. Okay. Whoever has had the most coffee/tea/water today.
Today.
How much have you had today? Probably
well,
more than
I
me.
got
You're so much better
that-
at drinking
that
water than me.
refresher from Dunkin'. I actually
Okay.
didn't have my water bottle with me, but I did have like 4 sparkling waters. Like Aldi sparkling waters.
What flavor? Tell the people.
Passion fruit. It's the best flavor from Aldi.
Mm.
Yeah, every place has their best flavor, but passion fruit is the best one at Aldi.
It's true. Okay, so you had a refresher this morning, a medium refresher,
Small.
a small refresher.
But
Wow.
I watered it down with extra water.
Okay, got you. And then like 5 cans of sparkling water. What are those, like 8 ounces or something?
Yes, they're
I
8
mean,
ounces.
I think you pretty much got me beat. I had a large iced coffee this morning. I had maybe 1 can of sparkling water. And that's it.
I'm about to take
No,
a
I
drink.
had some water.
I'm about to take a drink here out of my, I think this is 40 ounces water bottle.
I think my water bottle is like 32 or something, but I forget. I forget to fill it up. Some days I'm so good about it and I drink so much water. Today is not one of those days.
All right, that's one for me. Yeah, we should
Yeah.
do games like this more often. Last time we did like a dice roll
Not
thing.
fun. Not interesting.
Well, it would have been interesting, but you like to
okay.
suck the fun out of fun things sometimes.
This is a weird one. Excuse me. Okay, this is a weird one. Whoever has the best control of their eyebrows/nostrils.
I think we
I
both
feel like-
have relatively equal. I mean, you can't do the thing where one eyebrow goes up and the other one you can't like slide the eyebrows.
Not really.
But I can't do that either.
Okay, well
What
then
can you do with your nostrils?
I can flare them. I can pull them up a little bit. Is
Yeah,
this
I
good
mean,
podcast material?
I think we
see what we're
have the
doing.
same amount
We're
of
being
control.
kind of freaks
I think
over
that's
here.
a tie.
Yeah, I think it's a tie too.
We'll go to a tiebreaker if it ends up mattering.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one. See if I remember it. Okay. Whoever has the most colorful shirt/blouse/shoes/socks. I'm not sure if it means what we're wearing currently or in our wardrobe.
I think what you're wearing currently.
Yeah, which
I'm
would be
wearing
you.
a nice red shirt and I'm wearing mismatched socks and green slippers.
I am literally wearing a white shirt and white socks and like the most acid washed jeans. So I think I completely lose. Like it's all void of color.
All right. Well, that's 2 for me. 1 more and I win.
Well, I said 2 out of 3. So.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
earlier we were talking about 3 out of 5. I had the wrong number in my head.
So you win, dude.
Okay, I win. For the third time in 4 shows, I go first.
Congratulations.
We're going to have to keep a tally of how many times people go first, because I know it's going to be me a lot, because for some reason I've gone first way more times than you so far.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's the luck of the draw, I guess.
It's the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
All right. For anybody new to the show, the way this works is we each have a podcast topic. Well, obviously a podcast topic, a pop culture topic that we're going to sort of ask the other person what they know about it. And then once we've done that, we'll go into a deep dive about that topic. And we each have one. I'm going to go first. All right. Last week I brought you The Lord of the Rings, which is a great pop culture topic. This week, I'm going to ask you, Mikaela, what do you know about a Super Mario?
Man, I knew there was a reason you were wearing this costume. I was like, okay, Chris is currently wearing most of his Halloween costume, which is Mario, because we're all dressing up as like, Mario. I'm Peach. Our daughter is Toad. We're going to do something really cute. But I was like, why is he still wearing this? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't look that comfortable, but...
it actually is very comfortable.
Well, the
go. Reason I put it on in the first place is because the last piece, the overalls, arrived in the mail today.
Yeah, that's true.
And I wanted to try the whole thing on. That is actually my first quick facts, is that our Halloween costume this year is from this pop culture topic.
And I honestly am so excited. He's so cute. But as far as what I know, so are you talking about Mario in general? You said Super Mario? What did you say?
I said Super Mario to differentiate it from Mario, because Mario's a name, like people are named Mario,
Yeah.
It's kind of generic. I didn't want to say we're talking about Mario. I mean, you would have got it.
Sure.
But we're actually going to go deeper into the distinction in this deep dive.
Yeah, okay.
Between Mario and Super Mario.
Okay,
We're going to go deep.
What all the different kinds of things that he shows up in? Like all the different games and stuff? Okay.
But, just talk about Mario, the character, the man, the myth, the
legend,
the spaghetti.
My spaghetti. Okay, so what I know about Mario is like not probably that much. I mean, I know he's a plumber, and I know he's in the canon. He's originally from Brooklyn, New York. I learned this recently.
Actually, we'll get deeper into that too.
Okay, and then I know he has a brother named Luigi. Mm-hmm. I know his romantic interest is Peach.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I know his arch enemy is Bowser.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What is the context? I mean, basics.
He's in the Mushroom Kingdom. He's fighting the turtles and the Bowser's henchmen.
Bowser. Mm-hmm.
And Bowser himself to save Princess Peach. Mm-hmm. Because Bowser has a thing for Peach too, I think, or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's weird. But, I mean, there's obviously lots of things. So there's like the Super Mario Bros. There's Super Mario Party. There's Mario Kart. There's, I don't know, more than one Super Mario Brothers too. Also, and like Super Mario Maker or something. I don't know. I know there's lots and lots of different games, like lots of different games. But personally, I've only ever played Mario Kart, and I may have played one with you before, but I was like probably close to tears because I was so bad at it.
No.
Per usual. But
no, Mikaela, you're perfect.
Oh, thank you. Anyways, I don't know much about like all of the different games, but I do know, I know the character. I know the character.
You don't know all the trivia, but you have your pop culture bases.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Like I feel like I could hold my own. You
could hold your own
in
like a Mario character naming contest.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that on a bonus show.
Maybe.
Well, let's do the quick facts. I'm going to do a lot of numbers here. This is what I like to do in my segments. I like to throw numbers out at the beginning.
I like the numbers, yeah.
All right. Mario or Super Mario as he's sometimes known. Probably the most famous video game character, and you didn't even mention, and everybody just takes for granted. Mario is sort of Mr. Video Games, the face of video games, sort of a mascot. Probably the most famous video game character of all time. All right, starring in over how many games?
I'm gonna guess like 30.
Starring in over 200 games since 1981.
That's wild. Oh my gosh. I guess it makes sense. But I don't know. I don't think I would have. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yes, Mario turned 40 last year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Old man.
What was he already, like 50?
I don't know what his canonical age is. I don't have that in my quick facts. All right. In terms of Mario and the video games he appears in, there's lots of different series of Mario games, and I'm sure you're familiar with all of them. There's all of the sports games. There's golf and tennis, and there's been pretty much any sport you can think of. There's been
the golf, for the Switch that we played was like the most chaotic thing. Like the one that you play with other people. Yeah. What is that called? The like party version
Mario
or something?
Golf. Oh, it's not called battle mode. That's
multiplayer.
For Mario Kart.
I don't know what it was. It was wild.
It's like battle golf.
It was wild.
Yeah. There's Mario Party and Mario Kart. So all of those, along with the sports games, sort of in the party genre, bring along a bunch of people, even people that don't usually play video games.
Multiplayer,
Yeah.
Most people have played around a Mario Kart in their time.
There's Mario RPGs, like Paper Mario, Mario and Luigi. There's the main series of Mario, which is actually what we're going to talk about today. We're not going to talk as much about the spin-offs. We're going to talk about sort of the origins of Mario, and then a little bit more about the main series of Mario. On Wikipedia's list of highest grossing media franchises, if you Mikaela recall, we had an episode 0 where I talked about Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon is number 1 on that list.
Yes.
Where do you think Mario ranks?
I'm going to guess in the top 5.
Almost. Number 6 on that list.
Okay.
It's Pokemon, Hello Kitty, Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh, and Star Wars, and then Mario.
I would have never guessed Winnie the Pooh would be in the top 5.
Yeah, crazy. The Mario franchise has grossed $47.5 billion.
I just had to think for a second. Billion. Like billion.
Billion.
I
It's
don't even know what to say.
It's the best-selling video game franchise of all time. I know Pokemon's on that list, but the bulk of the Pokemon money is from also other stuff besides video games. And my last quick fact was that we're going as Mario and Princess Peach for Halloween.
Yes, we are. And our daughter's going to be Toad.
Yes. It's going to be so cute.
It'll be adorable. I'm so excited.
All right. So let's go into the deep dive section. We're going to talk today about the Super Mario series. So most of these games I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about what this actually means, because actually this is not cut and dry statement. There's a great YouTube video. It's 45 minutes by Jan Measley. That's JanMisali. Great channel, sort of underground YouTube channel, I'd say. The video is called "How Many Super Mario Games Are There?" It's a 45-minute video.
Okay.
I've watched it a lot of times, actually.
Of course.
There isn't that much consensus on this, because there's a lot of games that are like, I don't think some people don't think it's part of the series, and other people think it is part of the series. It's very interesting. What we're going to talk today is about sort of the main series of Mario games. Now, when you think of, it's a Mario game, when you're not thinking of Mario Party, Mario Kart, all that stuff, what do you think of?
I think of that, like, whatever that is, 2-dimensional, 1-dimensional, whatever. It's one direction. You're going across the it's scrolling screen, you know, jumping on the blocks, avoiding the flower or the piranha plants coming out of tube, or jumping into tubes for like the secret rooms, that kind of stuff. That's what I picture.
That's exactly right. So they're called platformers. They're called that because, so you control Mario in a 2D or 3D. There's also 3D games in the series. You navigate obstacles by jumping. That's why it's called a platformer. You jump onto platforms. You jump on enemies. You try to avoid enemies. You try to reach the goal. Some of the games you collect things instead of reaching the goal, but all of them are sort of bound by control Mario. It's an action game, and there's jumping on platforms and trying to complete these challenges, right? So examples of these main series, there's Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, New Super Mario Brothers, there's Super Mario 64, all those kind of games. So let's get into the origins of Mario. So Mario, the series, is published by the video game company Nintendo, which I'm sure most people have heard of. Nintendo's company has existed actually since 1889. They started as a playing card company. They made Hanafuda cards in Japan, which was a popular gambling game. It's actually sort of an underground game. Like gambling was like outlawed in Japan, so it was sort of seedy actually. They pivoted into toys in like the 50s, 60s, that kind of range, and then early 80s, late 70s, arcade games started to boom, so we're pivoted into arcade games. You know, we're a toy company, we'll make arcade games. So they had one early arcade game in the early 80s called Radar Scope, which was a bomb. It failed. And so the president of the company was like, we got to do something to turn us around, and we got to do something with all of these Radar Scope arcade cabinets that we're not going to sell anymore because the game sucks. So the president of the company calls on Shigeru Miyamoto, who is the creator of Mario, the god of the video game designers of all time, the lord of Mario, and also of The Legend of Zelda, which we'll talk about in another episode.
Oh, yes.
So he goes to Shigeru Miyamoto and he's like, can you come up with something, a new game that we can put into these old crappy cabinets that nobody wants to buy? We're going to take the old Radar Scope cabinets, put a new game in it, right? So he comes up with a game. He thinks of an idea where, you know, it's a game where you control some character. It's a side-on view, basically what you just described. You move left and right. You jump over stuff. You know, and this is the kind of thing actually you haven't seen in an arcade game. A lot of arcade games at this point, there's games where you are floating in space, you shoot stuff. It was actually mostly floating in space and shooting stuff at that point.
Yeah.
So this game is called Donkey Kong.
Oh, yes. Okay. I didn't actually know this, that Mario first appeared in a Donkey Kong game.
Yes.
Yeah.
The classic arcade game, 1981, long time ago. Donkey Kong. It's a game where you control the character, Mario, a man with overalls and a mustache and a hat.
A plumber, some might say.
Not yet.
Yeah.
You control character Mario. You climb a construction site to rescue your girlfriend Pauline from the runaway ape, the namesake of the game Donkey Kong.
Not Pauline.
Not Pauline. Yeah, Donkey Kong captures Pauline, and Mario has to climb the construction site. And Donkey Kong doesn't want him to do that, so Donkey Kong is chucking barrels down the construction, and Mario has to jump over the barrels. This is a classic, very famous arcade game. There's a whole award-winning documentary called The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. Mikaela's never seen it.
Oh,
we were talking about it
this
the other day.
Yeah, we talked about this a while ago, and I was like, hey, well, we should watch that.
We should watch that sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, very famous arcade game apart from the characters of Mario and the character of Donkey Kong, who are famous in their own rights. Okay, where did these iconic elements of Mario? I mentioned that he has, you know, he's named Mario, he has the overalls, he has the hat, he has all this stuff in the very first outing. So where does all this come from? Why does he have all this stuff? Because it's a weird concept, right?
Well, especially because it's like not, obviously, it's not Japanese, like.
Oh, that too, yeah.
He's like supposed to be Italian or whatever, you know. So, like, where'd you get that inspiration
Well, there's
from,
this stuff.
sir?
This stuff actually comes from technical limitations of the video game. The overalls and the mustache, for example. Think about this video game. This is a character on the screen that's like 8 by 8 pixels. You have like 64 pixels to make up this entire character on the screen. So if you have a face that's like 4 pixels tall, how are you going to have a mouth and the chin and the eyes and the nose and all of that stuff? You can't do that with 4 pixels tall. So what you do is you make the bottom pixel a chin, the next pixel up is a mustache, and the next pixel up is the eyes. You do it like that, and then you don't have to draw a mouth separate from the eyes and all that stuff.
Right.
So that's where the mustache comes from, and that's the same place the hat comes from, and the overalls. If you don't have overalls, it's kind of hard to decipher the movement of the character running and jumping. You can't see the arms moving if the shirt is all the same color, right?
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So that's where the overalls come from. As for the name Mario, the main character of Donkey Kong was named Jumpman because he jumps. That's what he was named by Miyamoto and the developers. For promotional materials in America, Nintendo of America, they called him Mario often. And he was named after Nintendo of America's landlord for their office, Mario Segale, who was famous for busting into a meeting one day and asking for the rent.
Oh my gosh. Not his spaghetti.
Yes, not his spaghetti. And I'm sure a combination of that name, which stuck at one point, and like the mustache and all that stuff sort of led to him becoming this Italian stereotype character.
Right. Well, we all know the Italians are, a marginalized group.
You all know they have mustaches and they're all named Mario.
Yes.
All right, let's flash forward to the next game. Actually, there was more games in between. There's Donkey Kong 2 where Mario's a villain. The only game where Mario's a bad guy.
What?
Yeah, Mario captures Donkey Kong, puts him in a cage. Actually, no, I'm thinking of Donkey Kong Jr., not Donkey Kong 2. There's no Donkey Kong 2. It's just Donkey Kong Jr. Yeah, you play as Donkey Kong Jr.
He puts the monkey in a cage?
Yeah. And you play Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong's son, trying to rescue him from the cage.
Does Mario get his ass beat?
No, you just keep doing it forever until you run out of quarters. The same thing with Donkey Kong.
They know what they're doing.
In Donkey Kong, Mario never saves his girlfriend. You just keep going until you run out of quarters.
What? There's no end?
Well, I mean, Mario gets to the top and there's a little heart, but then you keep going. It's an arcade game.
Oh my god.
All right. We're going to flash forward 2 years to 1983. An arcade game was released called Mario Brothers, or Mario Bros.
Yeah, okay.
Which, the Mario series is a big fan of calling it bros instead of brothers.
Long before there were bros.
Yeah, this is bros with a period, as in...
Right, just an abbreviation.
It's an abbreviation, yeah.
Not a lifestyle.
Yeah. This was a new arcade game. It featured the same character from Donkey Kong, now officially named Mario. It also featured the bro, who they called Luigi, I think just in the promotional materials too, or it might have been on the cabinet.
That's amazing.
It was the first game to introduce that. It was the first game to introduce that Mario is a plumber. This game is also a platforming game. It takes place in like a sewer, like there's pipes and stuff, and it has the turtles, which would be famous later. So yeah, it's the first to introduce Mario as a plumber, introduce the brother. All right, let's flash forward another 2 years, and we're going to talk about Super Mario Bros. Now this is the big game that starts everything, right? Wind it back again, 1983 still. So that was when Mario Bros came out. Arcade games been popular for some time, and many video games are starting to come into the home. We're starting to see things you can plug into your TV and play the arcades at home, except they were way crappier than the arcades. Around that time of 1983, though, consumers started to lose interest with video games at home. They stopped buying stuff. There's no regulations on the market. Stores had bajillion games that whoever made, and they were really bad, and everybody was like, video games at home suck.
I got you, yeah.
This is called the video game crash of 1983. everybody basically thought video games at home is never a thing. It's never going to happen again.
Yeah, arcade is the way.
Yeah,
I think.
because
Gotcha.
video games at home suck, and nobody
No.
buys them anymore, and
Mhm.
it's just a failed business venture. All right, so Nintendo has a plan about this. Nintendo had a successful at-home system called the Famicom. This was in Japan. They feared a failure overseas because of the video game crash. You know, everybody's like, you can't do video games at home. This is in America. So what they decided to do is they hatch this whole plan. They rename the system. They call it the Nintendo Entertainment System. And now it sounds like it's something that goes like with your VCR or something, you know. And they renamed the cartridges are called game packs. And they bundle this robot toy with the system.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And they pack in a game pack with the system. And sort of they market it, instead of marketing it as like, oh, this is, you know, at home video games, bring the arcade home. They're marketing it as like, this is the hot new toy for the holiday season.
Right.
Now they're targeting
give it a
it.
whole rebrand.
They're targeting it at the kids, you know.
Yeah.
Because before, video games, it's like, oh, it's for, you know, all the people. Which, you know, is sort of why there's like the stigma around video games, you know, in the 90s and 2000s and stuff. It's like, oh, it's just for kids. That's why we can't have like violent video games or this and that. That's a whole different discussion, obviously.
Right.
There's actually a great YouTube video about this whole thing by the Gaming Historian. If you look up the Gaming Historian's video about ROB, the Robotic Operating Buddy, that's the toy robot I was talking about. It's this whole great history. He does these great like Ken Burns style documentaries about, you know, video games and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Anyways, one of the games that came with the system as a bundle was a new game featuring Mario from Donkey Kong Mario Bros. Called Super Mario Bros. This is a landmark game, both for Mario and for video games in general.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, you do everything that you already described when I asked you, what do you think? You run from left to right, get to the end of the level, you bash question mark
Koopa
blocks with your head. You
Koopa
jump on
things.
top of turtles, Koopas.
Mm-hmm.
You jump on top of the Goombas. You make them flat.
Yeah.
You jump over blocks.
We get the hearts and the stars and the mushrooms.
You get
and all that stuff.
you get all the power ups.
Yeah.
These are all things that.
Not hearts, flowers.
Well, I mean, depending on the game, Super Mario Bros. 2 has hearts.
Okay.
Anyways, so in this game, Mario lives in a fantasy kingdom called the Mushroom Kingdom. He's no longer a plumber. Well, you know, he's a plumber, officially, but like he doesn't plumb in the game.
By night. By day,
he's a plumber. By day, he jumps on blocks.
Right.
There's an evil dragon creature that they make up called Bowser. He kidnaps the princess of this Mushroom Kingdom, who's now known as Peach. Actually, at the time in America, they had different names, but in Japan, they were always Bowser and Peach, and now they're Bowser and Peach everywhere.
Good names.
Yeah, there used to be Princess Toadstool and King Koopa.
Oh my gosh. I mean, King Koopa's not bad, but Princess Toadstool. It's a good. Glad they rebranded.
Yeah, so Mario and Luigi, if you play as two players, they embark on an adventure to rescue the princess. And you do all the things we already talked about. You jump on stuff, you jump under stuff, you get power-ups, you get to the end of the level. But yeah, this is a landmark in video games because think about arcade games. We talked about this. Donkey Kong or Mario Bros. You play and play and play and your score goes up and you try to get the high score. This is a game where you have a beginning and you have an end. And like you beat the game. This was not thing that was very, this was a novel concept. This was like an adventure. You go on this adventure, as opposed to like you trying to get the high score. Yeah. And I mean, after that, it's history for Mario. A lot of his games going there from there on, apart from the spin-offs, same formula. Not really adding that much. I mean, obviously you go into 3D, you do,
right.
You add, a couple new moves to Mario, that kind of stuff. But it's the same concept. You jump on stuff, you jump on enemies, you get power-ups, you get to the end of the level. Some games, instead of getting to the end of the level, you try and collect things. I mean, that's it. So that was my deep dive on the origins of Mario and the start of the Super Mario series.
All right.
Guess what section is next?
Personal.
The cultural impact.
Cultural impact. Oh, forgot.
All right. Super Mario Brothers and its two sequels, Mario Bros. 2 and Mario Bros. 3. They were a huge franchise in the 80s and 90s, way bigger than it is now. I mean, nowadays it's a big, really big, it's a video game franchise and all that stuff. But at the time, there was breakfast cereal, there was multiple TV shows, there was a live-action movie, which was a Hollywood flop, and nobody wants to talk about it ever again.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe this next one will be too.
This is when you were talking about the Brooklyn thing, sort of the American Mario in the 90s and late 80s is very different from the canonical video game Mario. The American Mario, as seen in, for example, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show or other sources, like the Super Mario Bros. Movie,
Yeah.
was just a plumber from Brooklyn.
Right.
Until he goes down some magic pipe one day and he ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Right.
So he doesn't have the Italian accent. That seems like maybe what Chris Pratt is going for in the movie, in the new movie.
Right.
We'll see.
I am of the speculation that it's like a Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Bring it back to the 90s Mario. Bring it back to Lou Albano of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show.
We have always wanted it to be back to that.
So that was a big deal at the time. Super Mario continues to be one of Nintendo's flagship video game series. The biggest future installments, there's Super Mario World in 1990, Super Mario 64 in 96, Mario Sunshine in 2002, Mario Galaxy in 2007, Mario Goes to Space.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Mario Sunshine is Mario goes on vacation.
He deserves a break.
Actually what happens is he goes on vacation and then he gets arrested because of something that Bowser did, and they're like, you have to clean. It's like a pollution message. We'll not go into that. Anyways, Mario Galaxy is 2007, Mario 3D World is 2013, and Super Mario Odyssey in 2017 is
that's the New York City kind of.
It's sort of a game about going on a trip all around the world. So there's lots of very different worlds that he goes to. And one of them is he does go to this very New York City kind of place.
Is that the one with the hat that has
yes,
like, the
it's
eyes
the one where he
stuff?
throws the hat.
Yeah, okay.
It's a great game.
Yeah, I've watched you play that game.
This entire series, very critically acclaimed. Nintendo puts their very best, it's the best video game designers in the world, in terms of just raw, good level design and crafting and experience. That's just good gameplay. This is the top, Nintendo puts their top resources into this. That and Legend of Zelda, which we mentioned before.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Also, cultural impact. One of the most popular offshoot series is Mario Kart. That's the one you're most familiar with. It's a racing series that's about... It's like a party game. It's about multiplayer fun for people of all skill levels. And it's a great time.
It is. Truly is.
Yeah. We've gotten a lot of fun out of Mario Kart 8 on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Very fun game.
I mean, we played it on the plane. We played it in, literally anywhere. So, yeah, we love playing Mario Kart.
It's a Nintendo Switch commercial. You play it on the plane.
Not sponsored.
You play it in bed.
Okay. Right. Play in the bathroom. Play in the bathtub.
All right. Next in cultural impact, there's a new movie coming next year. Trailer just dropped
April 7th, baby.
Starring Chris Pratt as Mario. Jack Black as Bowser.
Yes.
By Illumination Studios, the Minions folks. Trailer dropped last week, and it's coming out next year. Looks kind of cool.
I'm actually kind of excited for it. I mean, I know people are like, "Oh, Chris Pratt, why did they choose him?" I don't know. I don't hate it, and I'm actually kind of excited. Maybe unpopular opinion, but.
And the last point in the cultural impact of Mario, we're gonna go deep.
Deep.
Mario is synonymous with video gaming He's a mascot like Mickey Mouse, and also a representative, an icon. Like how when you think of a superhero, you think of a character with a cape and spandex like Superman. You think of a character like Superman. When you think of a video game, you think of a game like Mario, right? He's evolved over time, but his original concept is always to be the blank slate that represents the player. Mario is you. He's the everyman. That's why he's a plumber. It's why he has a blue-collar job and he wears the overalls. Because he represents the everyman.
Where did you get this?
This is common knowledge.
You wrote this?
I mean, I'm paraphrasing from my notes.
Wow. Well... Okay.
That's the last point of my cultural impact section.
I gotta be completely honest with you. I have never once seen myself in Mario.
Well, like I said, his character's evolved over time.
Yeah. Maybe...
See, this is why these classic famous video game characters don't have a lot of personality.
Yeah.
Like Link from The Legend of Zelda. Actually, that one's supposed to be more literal. Is he has not very much personality, and his name is literally Link. He's supposed to be the link between the player and the character.
And that I get.
And that's why he doesn't talk. He's
Right.
supposed to be you.
Right. That I get. I feel that.
Mario, maybe not so much. Mario's a little more happy-go-lucky.
Well, I was about to say he's a bit more of a character. Like
Yeah.
he's a full-on character. It's not like he's just like Link. Yeah. No, not really much of a personality.
Well, maybe when I do the Legend of Zelda episode, I'll say this whole thing again.
Yeah. It would impact me more. My cultural impact would be impacted. I don't know what I just said.
The last section I usually have is I talk about my story.
Yes.
With this pop culture topic.
Yeah.
I don't have that much to say. I've played all these games as a kid. As a very little kid, we didn't have any Nintendo at-home consoles. We just had handhelds. I've played Mario 1. I played Mario 3. Those had, ports on the handhelds. There's different Mario Game Boy games, which we didn't talk about. We had those. And a little bit older, the Nintendo DS. I played Super Mario 64, had a version on the Nintendo DS. I played Super Mario World on the Wii Virtual Console. As a teenager, I played some more of the 3D games I didn't get a chance to play earlier. Mario Galaxy, great game. Actually, I played Galaxy 2. I didn't play Galaxy 1 until more recently. Super Mario Sunshine. In college, I caught up all the gaps. I played stuff on like emulators and stuff and got all the rest of the games. After college, we had the Nintendo Switch. I had lots of fun with Super Mario Odyssey and Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury for the Nintendo Switch.
That's a mouthful.
It is. But yeah, great fun. One of my favorite video game series.
Yeah.
And of course, spin-offs are always present. For most people, in America have played Mario Kart before, that kind of thing. Mario Kart. One of my favorites was Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color. Played that one a lot. It's a really great game. Great music.
Oh, yeah.
Really fun gameplay on that. A lot simple, because I feel like when I've tried to play Mario Golf, any of the games on the console, it's like okay, but it feels like more, it feels like the Game Boy version was like simple, like it didn't have clutter. And also the Game Boy version, as opposed to the console versions, was like a RPG. You don't play it like the Mario characters are like these mythical figures. They're so great at golf. They don't get to see them until the end of the game.
Oh my goodness.
And you just go on this RPG through the world and work your way up through the world of golf until you're good enough to actually play against Mario at the end.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a fun time.
Sounds interesting.
It was a great game. Well, that's it. That's the end of my notes.
All right. Awesome.
And talking about Mario Golf. What did you learn, Mikaela?
What did I learn? I didn't know that there were that many games with Mario in it. So that's new information for me. What else did I learn? So I did already know that Mario was like in a Donkey Kong game. I forgot that I knew that. But I didn't know that the reason, like, I liked the backstory for the reason for his character and the why, like the design and everything, because it has always perplexed me a little bit. Like, why a Italian plumber? Why? But now we know why.
Yeah.
Why. Anyways, so yeah, awesome.
I have 2 fun facts to end off with that
Okay.
I was sort of planning on saying, but I didn't write down. And since,
Coming back to you now.
Yeah. Number 1, perhaps the most famous piece of video game trivia, but you might not know it. You probably don't. Super Mario Brothers 2 in America was not the same as Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan. So Super Mario Brothers was released in 1985, and they quickly went to do a sequel. So they put it out in Japan, and they sort of envisioned it as like, if you're so good at Mario 1, this is like your next step. So it was sort of like, if you finish Mario 1, you got to end of World 8, and this is World 9. Like, it was hard game. It was like the next step up in the hardness of levels.
Right.
And in America, it's mostly kids playing this, right? And so the Nintendo of America person got the game, and they tried to play it, and it was like really frustrating, and they were like, this isn't gonna sell, why, this is bad. So Nintendo's like, what are we gonna do? Mario Brothers 1 is this giant hit in America, and how are we gonna put out this Mario Bros 2 that's not gonna sell and people are gonna hate? So they took this existing game called Doki Doki Panic. And they were like, they took it to Nintendo America, and they were like, if we put Mario characters in this, will the American children like this? I think that was literally like a quote I remember from the Gaming Historian documentary. It was like, will the children play this? And they're like, yeah. So they did that. They took this game that already existed in Japan, and they changed the characters to Mario characters, and that was Super Mario Brothers 2, which is why, and I'll show you after the podcast, but if you look at Super Mario Bros. 1 and 3, they're very similar. They have the same enemies and power-ups and stuff. And then 2 is like kind of weird. All of the enemies are different. Like, the way that they control the game is different. When you jump on stuff, they don't die. You have to jump on it, and then you pull it up and you throw it. Have you ever seen the Mario where like you pull turnips out of the ground and throw turnips and stuff?
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
Yep.
That's Mario 2.
Oh.
So yeah. That's the story of Mario 2. My second fun fact is, did you know that there's a Mario Dance Dance Revolution game?
I can picture it. I feel like I maybe did know that, but
It's called Dance Dance Revolution.
That's
Mario
amazing.
Mix.
Wait, is it like an arcade thing?
No,
Like
it's a Wii game.
Oh.
No. GameCube game? I don't remember if it's a Wii or a GameCube game.
I remember when they were like, when you could buy like the Dance Dance Revolution pads and hook them up to your, console or whatever. I feel like maybe I remember seeing that. I don't know where, but that's actually pretty hilarious. Like envisioning Mario.
Oh yeah, but they bust moves in that game.
That's
I'll show you the tape of that after the
It's fantastic.
video too. Maybe we'll put that on the Instagram and we'll have that be the meme. We'll do
Nice.
Mario breakdancing.
Nice.
All right, well that's
Wow,
it for my
awesome.
topic.
All right.
I guess
great.
we'll have to go to a
We'll go to a
commercial
quick break. Yeah, a quick break, and then we'll be back.
A quote commercial break.
We'll be back with my topic.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. I have no idea. Welcome back.
Oh no. He's in the full costume now. He's got the hat on. Well, actually, he's missing the gloves, but
I mean, I was wearing, the pants and the shirt before, and I just had the hat.
you mean the overalls? They're not just pants.
Well, they're pants. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
These are comfortable. I'll probably wear these. I don't know for what.
around the house, you cannot go out in those. Besides, if you're wearing a costume.
Oh, that's not very nice.
I
They
mean,
have lots of little pockets to like put your tools and stuff.
what tools?
I'll wear this. Oh, this weekend we're doing some house
Yeah, it's true.
projects. I'll wear them then.
All right. Go right ahead.
Welcome back to the show.
Yes.
Welcome to part 2 of this episode.
Part 2.
Michaela's topic. I'm very interested because I have
Okay.
absolutely no idea what this is going to be about.
All right, Christopher. Today's topic is
We have to say, what do you know about?
okay. Okay, yes, Chris. What do you know about Paris Hilton? The person, Paris Hilton.
I'm sorry, I have to say Nothing.
You literally don't know who she is?
I've heard the name. Sorry.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh my gosh. It's okay. It's okay.
Is it? Do you think it's okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, it's fine that you don't know anything about Paris Hilton because I'm going to tell you.
You're going to turn away from me in bed tonight and not look at my face.
I'd be like, you're sleeping on the couch tonight. You didn't know anything about Paris Hilton. That's insane. No, I would never. But I actually am really surprised because I feel like she is like a household name kind of thing where like everyone knows who Paris Hilton is. At least they've heard the name and they could say one thing about her.
I bet if you show me a picture, I'd be like, I recognize that celebrity face.
Okay, well I can, but I mean, I don't know. You might not. She looks like a really, rich, wealthy white girl with blonde hair.
Well, that's what I expected.
Because that's what she is. I'll pull up a picture. That's fine. I mean, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous, but...
Is she an actress, or...
I'm going to tell you.
Or is she just she's one of those celebrities where you don't know what she does? It's like a Kardashian, sort of.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, there's always... Yeah, I kind of recognize the face.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you what she does or how she's famous or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, all right. You know nothing. I mean, does her name ring a bell at all? Like anything about her name?
The name rings a bell. You showed me the picture.
Paris
the face
Hilton.
rings a bell. Hilton, I assume, has to do with the hotels.
Yes.
The picture of the face rung a bell, but if you showed me a picture, I wouldn't have said Paris Hilton.
Wow.
And yeah, if you had showed me that picture or just said the name, I could not have said a single thing that is associated with this person.
Do you not remember when we watched that Uncle Roger video of him reviewing Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian cooking?
I do actually remember that. I didn't remember that it was Paris Hilton, but I do remember that video.
Okay, so picture her.
It was funny. Sorry, going on a tangent.
No, go ahead.
But we watched Uncle Roger it's Nigel Young or Nigel Ung is a comedian on YouTube.
Hilarious.
And
if you want a good laugh, go watch some Uncle Roger videos.
He does this character called Uncle Roger, which is like this, this character of like this middle-aged Asian uncle. And he does reactions to all these sorts of videos. Usually,
mostly cooking.
Usually cooking videos. Like
some reality TV, though.
Where you're like cooking Asian food and you're like, oh, no, you did it wrong. That kind of thing.
Right.
But he did this reaction. So we watched back to back. There's this one video where it's like he watched this reaction of like this
I think it's 90 Day Fiance. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, it was the cheapest woman.
Yes, the cheapest people in America or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like a TLC show or something.
Yeah, it was like
was
like this, this lady who, they live in like a,
an apartment, a basic house.
Yeah, but like she's like, oh, we're gonna save everything and like we're gonna cook the lasagna in the dishwasher.
Right, it was not out of necessity either.
We only have one light bulb in the house.
She just didn't want to spend. Yeah. They had guests over and forced them to like use the light bulb. Like they were like forced to carry it around the house with them to go to use the bathroom or whatever. I mean, I don't even understand the mind that goes into doing that. But
then we watched the one where it was Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian, and I couldn't finish it. And I was thinking like, how come I feel more when I watch like the quote the poor people being ridiculous. I think it's funny when I watch the rich people being ridiculous. I get really mad at it.
There's probably something to unpack there, but
yeah, I don't know. But it was just making me upset, like sort of the out of touch, rich celebrity. That's another reason, and we talked about this in the Bachelor episode.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's another reason why I don't enjoy some of this like celebrity stuff is that like I just get really upset at sort of the out of touch rich person thing. When we watch Gilmore Girls, it's one of our favorite shows, and there's a whole, like half of that show's plot is like half of the show's plot is Your Star's Hollow, and it's like a cozy home thing, and the other half is Lorelai Gilmore's family,
right?
And the whole out of touch, rich
yes,
plot line, and
Yeah.
it's to the ridiculous degree because it's a TV show. But that like stuff makes me like really mad.
Yeah,
Which I mean, for
I
the TV
understand.
show, it's good. It's like a drama, but
Yeah, no, I totally understand, and I get that. I do.
Oh, you watch this show like Selling Sunset and like these like real estate in like these
probably
Beverly
talk about
Hills
that
like
in there.
real estate shows
Yeah.
and stuff. Oh my gosh.
I agree. I think it's infuriating to see rich people, like you said, be out of touch. But I've come to realize that they might not be as out of touch as they seem. A lot of them seem to be playing a character, which I think
for sure on these
is
TV shows.
1,000% true about Paris Hilton, which I did not know before.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm going to educate, hopefully, some people out there to, maybe have some more empathy and respect for Paris Hilton, because she has not had an easy life, and she's also like very, very accomplished. So, despite what you may feel or think about her as a person or rich person, or you're maybe annoyed by her character or whatever, that's perfectly fine. She is still a person. So I'm going to say, we're going to treat her with respect regardless of her annoyingness.
All right, let's do it.
So, okay.
Time, respect time.
Yes. So, if you go onto Paris Hilton's website, this is how she's described herself in her about page. This is what she is. It says she is. She's a businesswoman, influencer, activist, DJ, designer, investor, recording artist, philanthropist, host, actress, chef, model, and author.
See, that's sort of what for the sort of celebrity where you don't know what they do, like a Kardashian model, not model, like
right. I know what you mean.
That's the sort of thing I would expect on the website. Like
Right.
I would expect if I look at Kim Kardashian's website, maybe it does say this. It would say she's actress, producer, chef,
Right. Well, I would say it's kind of surprising, but these are all very much true. I mean, she is all of these things, has done all of this stuff. So, but anyways, like I said, most people, and I think you said this, she's kind of famous for being famous. She sort of started that, back in the, I think it was the 90s or early 2000s. I mean,
proto Kardashian.
Exactly. And actually, it's interesting. Her and Kim Kardashian have been friends since they were like in their, early 20s.
Similar interests.
Similar interests, sure. Being famous, no. Money. Anyways, so she is definitely known. Like, I think that's just kind of what people think of her as, being famous for being famous. Like, why is she famous? For no reason at all. But that's not completely true. So, a little backstory. She's born in 1981 in New York City. Both of her parents were, socialites in New York City. Her great-grandfather is the founder of the Hilton Hotels. So, yes, we're talking money. We're talking big money. And, just a little bit about her childhood. So as a child, she was labeled as more of like a tomboy. She's not really interested in like a lot of the sort of like socialite type lifestyle. She didn't want to do all these like, these balls that her mom made her do and the coming out party. You only know, I mean, from like the Gilmore Girls stuff, but like, all of those rich people things where they go and they learn etiquette and they do the tea parties and
the New England socialites.
Exactly. She was not interested in any of that and did not like any of that. It felt very kind of outside of all of that. Like, it was not her. And anyways, as a like older teenager, she spent a lot of time like sneaking out of the house, going and partying. She was like really big in like the New York City club scene, so that's where she started getting popular, was like, you know, tabloids and all like the news, you know, different, mostly tabloids, like taking pictures of her. I mean, like, who is this girl, you know? But she was still a teenager at the time, so she had like a fake ID and stuff like that. But she would go out to these clubs and drink and all that stuff. And obviously her parents like were worried about her, didn't want her doing this, didn't whatever. But instead of, I don't know, not doing this, they sent her away to multiple boarding schools, I guess you could call them.
Of course.
However, she ran away from 2 of them.
Is there a movie about this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Not a movie, it's a documentary, but yes.
I was gonna say this will make a good movie or something.
Oh yeah, it was
probably will be one
fantastic. I think there might even be a movie about her life. I don't know. Anyways, she ran away from the first 2 schools that her parents forced her to go to. And so the final time when they sent her off to the school, in her documentary called This Is Paris, which is a YouTube original movie, so if you want, you should watch it. It's really good. You should watch it. Just a bit of a trigger warning because there is some really like intense stuff in it, but it's really good. Anyways, so the final time, I believe she's like 17, they ship her off to another boarding school. However, this time, instead of like, you know, just telling her, hey, we're going to this place, we really want you, you know, want to get you some help, whatever, because they think she's troubled and all this stuff. That's why she's sneaking out and drinking and blah, blah, blah. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Like, troubled in that she's like mentally ill, probably more trouble because of the life her parents are forcing her to live is not her. Anyways, instead of just like taking her, she recounts that in the middle of the night, they like the people that worked at this place like snuck into her room and like kidnapped her essentially to take her to this place. I mean, traumatic. And she still to this day has like nightmares about it.
Like her parents hired people to kidnap her?
Basically, I mean, it was people that were part of this like school or whatever. I mean, it's insane. So anyways, part of this documentary that she put out was covering a lot of this and a lot of her like trauma and how she's been sort of dealing with it since then. But she kind of recounts the different things that happened to her when she was at that school, and a lot of like physical, emotional, sexual abuse. Like, they're forcing them to take medications and be kind of sedated all the time. So they couldn't run away because they didn't have like the mental capacity to run away. So she was there for, the school was intended to be like a mental health facility basically for like troubled teens. And then they finished school. They're supposed to anyways. She ended up like leaving as soon as she turned 18. She was like, I'm out of here. And then ended up getting her GED. So I when I learned that, I was like, you know what? Some people knock the whole GED thing and think that it's a lesser form of education. But I just want to say, if Paris Hilton can get her GED and be as successful as she is, you can too.
There's a reason that GED exists.
Yeah. Anyways, so she went through this extremely traumatic time in her life. And then from there, basically went immediately into modeling. So she actually was, she ended up signing with Donald Trump's modeling agency. I mean, I think their families were like friends, you know. It's the whole New York socialite thing.
Why does Donald Trump have a modeling agency?
We all know why. And she started getting more and more popular. Like, she started modeling and kind of got signed with these like huge art, photographers and like very popular, like, fashion designers and all that kind of stuff. So she got really, really famous kind of fast. And then, she ended up getting put on a reality TV show with her friend Nicole Richie. The name of this TV show was called The Simple Life. And the premise of this show is fantastic. The whole, like, and I've watched clips from it, but I want to go watch it now because I'm like, I've never watched the show all the way through, so I'm like, I need to watch it. The premise of the show is these two socialite, rich, privileged girls go to small towns across America doing different, like, menial jobs and tasks. So, like, the first season, they're living in, like, the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, and have to, like, work at some, like, sub shop or something for, like, a month or something. I don't know.
It feels like, though, like those survival shows where it's like, oh, survival out in the wilderness, and then when the camera turns off, they like go to their private helicopter or something. It's like, they're gonna go back to their trailer and get a manicure or whatever.
So yeah,
after,
the last
after
season,
the episode's over.
Right, the last season it features them doing a summer camp, like they're like the counselors at a summer camp. Which I imagine they probably, I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched it, so maybe they don't, gonna go back, like you said, go back, but I feel like they probably would. But anyways, this show was insanely popular. The first episode had 13 million viewers on its first episode. When it was on Fox.
What was it? Was this?
This was in 2003.
2003. The heyday of reality TV.
Which is more than any Keeping Up with the Kardashians or any of those kinds of shows have had. I mean,
well, reality TV was like, American Idol and Survivor.
Yeah.
That was like I said, that was the heyday.
Yeah. So the show ran for 5 seasons, so they did it for a while, and then it ended up being canceled after Nicole and Paris had a falling out, which they say there's lots of speculation as to what happened. Some people think it's because Nicole showed some of their friends a sex tape of Paris's. That's kind of like the speculated reason, and she was obviously upset about that.
That sounds from the Nicole and Paris debacle or something. That sort of rings a bit of a bell. Yeah.
So anyways, to move on a little bit about the things that Paris Hilton has done. She one of her major things is fragrances. That's like her biggest sort of thing. She is very big with NFTs right now. That's like her thing. She thinks NFTs are the future. And you know how I feel about that, so it's dumb.
But does our listening audience know? How about you go into it? Let's go for 20 minutes.
I don't need to go deep into it because honestly, if I'm being like totally transparent, I don't know anything about how any of that stuff works. I just know that it is breeding ground for scams and like literally is going to be worth nothing in like a decade. So, I mean, like just the other day, I saw that Logan Paul, the YouTuber Logan Paul, had like bought an NFT like a year and a half ago for like $60,000 or something, and it's worth $10 today. I mean, is there anything you could invest in that would be like that in a year? No. It's so unstable. So it's just like, I don't know, it's a scam. It's a scam. Something about it is so scammy to me.
I mean, I agree when you said it was a breeding ground for scams, although I don't think it is a scam. I mean,
well, no,
it's not like the person who invented the technology was scamming anybody.
No, I agree. I think it could be good, but I think it's just like
the same thing with I think some cryptocurrencies.
Anything with crypto, honestly,
cryptocurrencies are the breeding ground for scams
because you can't regulate any of it.
And that's the point. That's why it was invented.
because people wanted to scam people, I guess.
No, it was invented because it was sort of an anti-government and decentralization of. It had more lofty goals.
It could have been good, and I think it's terrible. Anyways, that's one of the things she's very big in.
That'll be a big pop culture topic for another episode.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe we'll start a controversial topics show.
Oh, maybe. I don't know enough about how NFTs and crypto and all that stuff works. I just know
I happen
to
know all about how it works.
That's true. And I feel like I maybe know more of like the drama stuff around it and like the influencers that have started their own coins and then done like rug pulls on people. Like I know about kind of some of the stuff like that. That's like, you know, very shady. And BitConnect, you know. What's up? BitConnect. Anyways, back to Paris Hilton. So, one thing you might know her for, her like big line during the Simple Life TV show, it started then, was, "That's hot." So she would say, like, "That's hot," about anything she liked, basically. Like, "That's hot" means, "I like that," or "That's cool,"
Mikaela,
or "That's good."
You know what? That's hot. I've never heard
but
that
of course,
before.
she says it in a Paris voice. Well, I know she said it in that cooking video that we watched.
Of course.
I can't do the Paris voice, but it is so unique. I don't know how. So she's talked about this before. She kind of developed this character essentially for the Simple Life, and it just stuck with her for her entire life. So she's like 40 something now and still does this character of Paris Hilton.
You know, based on, you know, what you said about her upbringing, it feels like her role in that reality show is sort of like she's trying to make fun of people like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, that tracks with you saying that she's doing a character. It's very interesting when you dig into, like, celebrities and their voices and, like, their characters that sort of consume their lives. Do you know that Charlize Theron, I don't know if that's actually how you say your name, but that's how most
Charlize.
people... Yeah, that's how most people say her name. Mm-hmm. You know, she's South African.
Oh, yeah.
And English is a second language. Mm-hmm. And she talks like it has a normal American accent.
Right. That
was like acquired.
Right.
And that's just how she talks now.
Yeah, it was I mean, some of it's out of necessity, right? Like, you're like, they do it because that's what they have to do for their job or whatever, but... Well,
obviously, like, you know, when you're an actress, you do all kinds of accents for your movies.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So Paris Hilton's been in a lot of movies. She's starred in a few. But she's always playing herself, basically. Like, she's kind of always been this sort of dumb blonde persona is, like, her thing. And I don't know. It's hard to fully put it into words because there's a part of me that's like, honey, you know that's not you. Why give off that, sort of...
I think she's trying to make a point.
Maybe, but it's not obvious. So it's not until she says, "Oh, that's not actually me," and you hear her talk in a normal voice that you go, "Oh."
I mean, does she do that frequently? Does she?
No, I mean that
Does she ever been on an interview where she more recently where she does?
Oh, sure, more recently, and I think there was maybe a few times when she was in the Simple Life show and was doing interviews and stuff that people would ask her "Is this really you?" and she'd kind of sort of stop with the accent for a second and go be herself. But I don't know, I think part of it too, she's done it for so long that it's just her. It's probably hard to not do it all the time, which I think she did talk about that.
Does she do that in private? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean,
no, because it's private.
This documentary kind of followed her through a lot of different sort of private moments, in her house and her kind of doing her own thing, kind of behind the scenes of different things. And yeah, she's sort of normal and herself, doesn't do the accent, but there's other times where she does, even when she's alone. So I don't know, it's interesting. But I, like I said, did not know that it was even a character. I had no idea. I thought it was just her. And I don't know, it's fascinating that she's kept up with it for so long and kept this sort of persona for so long, even though she's not on the TV show anymore. but it's just her. It's like her brand. So like one thing she did, she trademarked that. That's hot. She trademarked it. It's her thing, you know.
I mean, it's a good tagline. Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, the other she has like a couple other catchphrases, but one of them was sliving. I think it means like slaying and living together. That's sliving.
Another good one.
She's like, I'm totally sliving right now.
It almost sounds like I feel like it sounds like it's going to be some kind of innuendo, but I can't.
I know.
Like it doesn't quite line up with
No,
any
it doesn't.
actual innuendos.
It's kind of a weird sounding word, but I mean that's hot is like the thing though. She has this very airy kind of like slow talking voice and high pitch when she's like doing the Paris voice. But anyways, obviously she's insanely popular. She's like hosted SNL. She's done all these cameos on TV shows. She was actually on an episode of Supernatural, taking it back to our other episode.
You should you definitely need to do Supernatural as a topic.
I will. I'll talk about it sometime. But yeah, I mean that was actually the first time I think I ever like knew Paris Hilton existed was an episode of Supernatural, and they were like, it was like a wax museum or something that they were in, I think, in the episode.
I think I remember that episode.
Yeah. And they're like, what? Paris Hilton? You know, because she comes to life or something because it's a wax museum and something happens. They get like possessed. I don't know.
You know, I think that, I bet this, have you heard of TV Tropes, a website?
Uh-huh.
I bet this is on TV Tropes, but I feel like if you have a wax museum in a TV show or movie, it's coming to life. Right?
Oh yeah.
It's gotta be like
something's gonna come to life.
95% of the wax museums.
At least one of them.
Like, why would you go to a wax museum?
Yeah. In a TV show.
It's like a sitcom and the one character who's really boring wants to go to the wax museum. Mm-hmm. Or the stuff is coming to life.
Right. Yep. No, I feel you. I agree. Yeah. Anyways, that I think that was the first time I ever heard of Paris Hilton though, like legitimately. But yeah, in that episode, she does like a cameo in it. But I think she's much too popular now though, like too famous to be on like an episode of Supernatural. Her main thing now is DJing. So she's a very prominent person in like the DJing world. I think I saw that like she charges like $1 million a night or something to do her DJing. I mean, she tours all over, you know, doing her thing.
Shaq does that too. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
He's a big DJ.
I wonder if they've ever collaborated.
The Shaq, Paris Hilton, Dead Mouse, the Skrillex concert.
So when I was reading about it, that was like her debut was like a Dead Mouse like thing. Like
she opened for Dead Mouse? Something
like that.
Or did Dead Mouse open for Paris Hilton?
I don't know, but they did something together. That was like her debut DJing thing. I'm like, geez, I think most DJs that debut are like at their cousin's wedding or something, you know?
Yeah, well, when you're famous.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting reading about everything she's done. She owns like a race car crew or something in Spain. I mean, she owns so many things. She's like really branched herself out into all the different places to make money.
I feel like if I became rich and famous, that's what I would do. I would try to do as many things as I can.
Oh, yeah.
That the money has afforded me to do.
For sure.
That's already what I try to do now. I'm not rich and famous. You know,
right.
I try to, you know, write things, draw things, make music. We're doing a podcast, you know.
Kind of try your hand at all different kinds of things. Yeah. But anyways, I would say, despite everything, like I know she doesn't have a great relationship with her parents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Obviously.
I wouldn't have thought
which
that.
Actually, her mom is on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's apparently a hot mess, which I don't doubt it. She's like not a great person, I guess. Which that's another thing we could talk about is Real Housewives. I need to watch that. I need to watch Real Housewives.
I'll be happy just learning about it from you.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it with me. That's one, I mean, you would be totally and utterly PO'd watching something like Real Housewives. It would probably like put you over the edge.
You know, there was nothing worse than, Yummy mummies.
Oh my gosh. If you know, you know.
The argument about the baby wearing like Gucci or whatever.
No, Versace.
Versace?
Yeah. The baby had to wear Versace. Chris is like, I have no words. All right, one last sort of like little fun fact about Paris Hilton. She originally only inherited $5 million from her, family. Now I want you to guess how much money she's worth today.
How much money did you say that she inherited?
$5 million.
$5 million. That's not that much for famous people money.
Well, only $5 million.
Yeah. How much is she worth today? So let's see. Mario's worth
she does not have Mario money.
45 billion or something.
She does not have Mario money.
Yeah, I
or
doubt
even close to Mario money.
I doubt she's in the I don't think that celebrities usually don't make billionaire.
No.
Billionaire is
Billionaires kind of
billionaires like
crazy.
CEOs.
Yeah.
So it's millions. 500 million. No, that's $500 million. 500 million.
A little bit too much. 300.
300
300
million. I
million.
wasn't that far off.
Which is still a lot.
Yeah.
It's still a lot. Yeah.
Whenever sorry.
Go ahead.
Whenever I think of a celebrity like she only inherited 5 million, I always think of that clip of Donald Trump where he goes like, my father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Dude, that gets me every time.
I understand. I understand the context.
Right.
And I understand in the situation, small loan. But take it out of context. There's a lot of Donald Trump quotes you can take out of context.
Oh, sure.
And they become very funny.
Oh, sure. I mean, they're kind of funny even in context. I mean, a small loan is $10.
Yeah, but
a small loan is $100. Even
context.
$1 million? $1 million? Some people don't even see that much money in their life. Like, they go through their entire life and probably have never seen $1 million. $1 million? Small.
So,
loan.
anyways, $300 million.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money. Paris is raked in the paper. But, I think despite, you don't know, I guess you didn't know anything about Paris Hilton. I think most people probably know, they know what her voice sounds like. They kind of know the, sort of persona of Paris Hilton. But, after learning about the different things she's been through and learning about the things that she stands for now, so, after this documentary, she's been very outspoken about getting this school shut down because it's still open. She's been very outspoken about, everything that happened to her and changing the laws and making sure this can't happen to anyone ever again. Kind of, she's been very, active in mental health, especially for teens and young adults. 'Cause, she kind of talks about that with herself. If she would have had help or knew what to do or whatever, maybe things would have been different. So yeah, she's been very, prominent in those circles, which I think it's if you have that kind of money, if you have the things you have, do something, go with it. And I think she is. So she's very prominent in her, charity and activism and things like that. So, good for Paris. I feel like she in the documentary, especially, she talks a lot about the way that her life has been impacted, the things that have happened to her. She has trouble sleeping. She has nightmares. She talks about in the documentary, being afraid to go to sleep at night because she knew she's going to have these terrors and stuff. I mean, it's really sad, but it's also kind of makes you realize, celebrities and these people that are, obviously so rich, they're still humans, they're still people with feelings and with trauma and with, not all of them, obviously, have some kind of traumatic thing that happened to them, but everybody's got their things. They're still human beings. And especially Paris, I don't know, I felt like watching the documentary, I could feel a lot of empathy for her, even though I originally thought like she's like the dumb blonde, you know, sort of trope. That's her, because that's who she is. But no, it's a character. She kind of, I would guess, probably a way for her to, I don't know, sort of shield herself off from criticism, because it's like, okay, if I'm not even myself, then no one can criticize me, or, you know, whatever. And if they do criticize her, it's like they're criticizing my character, not me, you know. I really would suggest people watch the documentary if you can. I mean, don't, you know, like I said, it is kind of intense, so don't force yourself to go through that if you don't want to, but it is a good documentary. And then also, I think I'm definitely going to be watching I have to figure out how to watch it, but The Simple Life, I feel like it's got to be such good reality TV. Like I said, I've seen like clips from it, sort of the iconic moments from it, and it is so good. It's such good reality TV. I feel like I need to watch all of it, because I will probably eat it up. But at the end of the day, we've learned what, Christopher? What have you learned?
Wow. You know, that stuff you were talking about how you misjudged her and about her life and how she shields herself. It's a lot deeper than the stuff that I said about Mario.
Well, Mario is not even a real person, Christopher.
Mario being an everyman. I was trying to make that deep. You were a lot deeper than me. This whole section was a lot deeper than maybe either of us expected.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is, like I said, this documentary I watched, I don't know, I think it's easy for us to watch these celebrities and just judge from afar and assume that their lives should be so easy because they're rich and they're privileged and they have everything they want. And it's, you know, we put them under a microscope, maybe harshly criticize them more than we would someone else. And sometimes it's rightfully so, because they are in positions of power, and the things they say and do like make a difference in people's lives because they are influential. But other things, it's like, she's not doing anything to hurt anyone. She's just, you know, I think a lot of the hate towards her comes from like kind of misogyny, you know. It's like they just don't like her because she's this, you know, dumb blonde sort of like character. It's like a stupid woman, you know, so that's kind of how she gets treated, and people hate her for it for whatever reason. But she's not ever really done anything wrong. Like, she's not, sure, everybody has their, you know, skeletons. I think she maybe had like a DUI or something, but at the end of the day, she's not like evil or, you know, actively going out of her way to like, you know, tear down an entire people group or something. You know, she's just a person living her life. Is she privileged? Heck yes. But that doesn't make her a bad person. I think it's easy for us to kind of be like very judgmental of people like that. But
again, that was all very deep. You're really digging deep today.
Oh, well, I don't know. I was really moved by the documentary. It was a very, like, I don't know, I probably watched it over a year, like 2 years ago or something, maybe 3. And it still sticks with me. I still can picture some of like the images in my head of like, you know, her talking about things or that different things she did or whatever. So
yeah,
it's it was really good. And I don't know.
And you know, this was a great topic. It's culturally relevant.
Yeah.
It's definitely pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I didn't know.
That's true. You knew nothing.
And it's something that you care about. And you know, you're communicating something that stuck with you.
It's true. It really did stick with me. And even though I didn't grow up with Paris Hilton, I didn't grow up with her, like, you know, watching the show. I didn't grow up with like my friends liking Paris Hilton or anything like that. I think it was definitely like the people around me were definitely the kind of people to be like, she's stupid, you know. I didn't really know much about Paris Hilton until I started watching like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and stuff like that. Like, I was like, oh, they're friends, you know, so I kind of knew who she was. But I don't know. It was that documentary. It really stuck with me. It really did.
It feels very different from your topic last week.
Yes. Well, a couple weeks ago, I forgot to mention at the. I guess I'm done with my section, but
oh yeah, we're wrapping up the show.
Yeah, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, but like, sorry for the little bit of a delay on getting an episode out.
Oh, yeah.
We
are like 5 listeners or whoever's listening.
Yeah. I don't know. We intended to record last week. We've just had like some. I don't know. Life gets in the way sometimes, you know.
Actually, our analytics show. I don't know, what was it?
Wasn't it like 90 people or something?
Well,
total.
It was
for
like
all the
100 downloads, and who knows what that actually means or how they calculate that, or if that means how much they listen to the show or whatever. But there's a couple people around the world. I don't know how podcast propagation works.
Don't care who or where or what or why, but we are just so grateful.
We're having fun, and hey, if you're listening from somewhere far away, if you're not family or friends of us, we love that you're listening.
And if you are family and friends of us, we also really, really, really love that you're listening, because, I don't know, it means the world to us. You hear us talk when we're with you, so, you know, you hear us talk more when we're not with you. It's kind of impressive.
Give us 5 stars, give us a like, give us a subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Smash that like button.
Well, actually, let's get into the outro stuff here. So you can listen to What Do You Know About on... Let's see, we use a service that propagates it out, but it's definitely on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. We post it on YouTube at the YouTube channel, What Do You Know About?
I think it might be on like Amazon. Oh no, you said that already.
I think that's everything.
There's a couple other ones maybe.
There might be some side, are they like Google Podcasts or some side podcast services because we use RSS.com to spread our podcast out to the world. But yeah, and if this episode interests you, this is our 4th episode. We've talked about mukbangs, the Lord of the Rings. We talked about the video game StarCraft and the Bachelor,
the Hell House.
Yes, the urban legend of Ellicott City, the Hell House, and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. We've had some good episodes so far, and I think, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I think today's might be the best so far.
I agree. I think today the topics were snappy.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting facts. It wasn't too long. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode.
I do too.
As much as we did.
If you did, give us 5 stars, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz.
Whatever the thing is on the thing that you're listening with.
Yes. And we will see you again next time.
Peace.
Bye.